is for the ones who care.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. My name is hughwizzy and you're watching Arsenal Football Club offering Matteo Guendouzi a new contract, a bumper new deal they're calling it. He's going from £40,000 a week, which is already quite tasty for a 19/20-year-old who they signed from Ligue 1. Unai Emery plucking him from obscurity and rescuing him, let's say, before his career went out of control, because he was at PSG, moved to Ligue 1 side Lorient, and let's be honest, it was quite a shock seeing him starting against Manchester City in the opening game of the Premier League season, and I just thought maybe it's a little bit too soon. A lot of people are raving about the guy. He's showing a lot of potential and could end up being absolutely top quality. There's no denying that. And his maturity is clearly well beyond his years. He's a very intelligent player who wins fouls very well, knows when to get his body in front of the ball. But he does have a mistake in him, and at times I have felt that he was a bit of a liability. So when I woke up this morning and I saw the news that he'd been offered a deal worth double, or nearly double anyway, it was £75,000 a week, I was quite shocked, especially given that the contract that he signed less than 8 months ago actually runs till 2024. He signed a 5-year contract till 2024, and Arsenal have felt it necessary to secure this guy by offering him a new deal, which is obviously going to have more time on it, and at double the wages. It's almost like they don't ever learn anything, this club. However, there is the argument that we're really just protecting our assets. And as he is apparently the second most valuable young player in Europe, just behind Jadon Sancho, if you have a look over here, this is from the footballobservatory.com. Jadon Sancho worth 150 million euros apparently. Guendouzi worth 70 million, which is astonishing, given that we signed him for £7 million. Now, it's a big if, but if another club was to come in for Guendouzi, they would have to pay £70 million. Is that what you're telling me? I mean, let's sell him now if that's the case. Is there a club out there that will pay £70 million for Guendouzi? I don't know. Let's see what we're getting for our money. We got one goal. And no assists. But he's actually played 48 times. One goal in the Europa League, and passing is his strength. Through balls are his strength. I've got to say that this is my favourite thing about Guendouzi. He plays one ball in particular between the lines, out wide. He's very clever with it. I just feel like we might be getting a little bit excited here, because I've lived through Cesc Fabregas. We saw what an actual teenager could do. A 16, 17-year-old, an 18-year-old who was dominating in Europe, Champions League football. Assist king. Admittedly, they're not quite the same player. But I just want a little bit more bang for my buck, I guess. And at £75,000 a week, you've got to say that it's a risky deal, this, because he's had one good season. There have been plenty of players who've looked good for their first season and have ended up actually shocking. What is he actually adding to the side? And does this mean that he's actually going to be a centrifugal part, an integral part of Arsenal going forward? I would have to say it does, yes. 75 grand a week is exactly the same amount that Christian Eriksen is currently earning. Christian Eriksen is an attacking midfielder, but gives you a little bit more for your money. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a player who Liverpool have given the opportunity. He's come up from the youth squad. He's currently earning £40,000 a week, and he's got Liverpool to 2 Champions League finals. There's return for your money there with plenty of assists. I think double figures this season in the Premier League. Now, I've singled him out, even though it's quite clear that he would be good, because all the Liverpool players have been good. They've had an incredible season. Arsenal, on the other hand, haven't. But are we really looking to add more to the wage bill? It strikes me as slightly premature. If this doesn't work out, once again, Arsenal are going to be stuck with a player that they can't get rid of because no other club in their right mind is going to pay those wages. What we have really done is rewarded a player for being involved in the failure. Yeah, he's looked good. That's great. But he's also a liability. So what we're doing is we're saying that that's the measure. In fact, that's what we will reward. I don't know if this is the way to go about it. I totally understand that we have to, ward off interest from other clubs. But you've got to make sure that this is actually doable and that we're not going to get ourselves back into a similar situation. On the flip side of this, Welbeck is leaving, Aaron Ramsey is leaving, Petr Cech is leaving, and other players will leave, freeing up a lot of wages. So perhaps it's fine. But this is the kind of thing that's come back to haunt Arsenal before, and it may well do again. Because, whilst you could argue that he deserves it because he's had a decent season and showed that he can handle the pressure of playing in the Premier League, there's also the argument that those performances just don't warrant that kind of contract. I'm sorry. If we're being brutally honest and reviewing Guendouzi's season, much like Arsenal's, it hasn't been all that, really, has it? He had about a 10 to 12 game stretch where he was quite impressive, but the rest of the season has been an absolute farce. Impressive in parts, but mostly shocking. From the very first game of the season, we saw that he had potential, that he could grow into an actual top-class player, but there's no denying that we were lacking in a bit of defensive or spatial awareness, that he was continuously being caught on the ball, that he still has much improvement to make in both, footballing intelligence and also strength in general. There are weaknesses and flaws to his game that mean that he is at times a bit of a liability. He does make mistakes. He does get caught napping. He's in the wrong position quite a lot of the time. He's giving the ball away sometimes. It's just not what you would expect to see from an Arsenal midfielder if Arsenal do have intentions of being a top-class club, an elite club. And also, it's very interesting then to see Arsenal doubling his wages. Perhaps it is to fend off interest that is being reported from PSG. Perhaps the French do want him back and they've seen the potential of one of their future stars and they want to get him back in the country and, that be part of the marketing push. Maybe that is the case. Maybe they realise that they've made a mistake in letting him go. There's a lot of money in football right now, right? And it's a dream for a lot of these kids, I'm sure, to be playing the game. But if you're giving guys 75 grand a week at 19, 20 years old, when they've had bang average seasons, you are celebrating that bang averageness, for want of another expression. You are rewarding this guy for mediocrity. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but it just strikes me as a little bit too much. And I know that me, for example, if I got 40 grand a week and was fucking bang average at what I was doing, and then I got 75 grand a week the next year, am I going to be that fussed if it doesn't go that well? Because I've doubled my wages. I'm laughing right now. I mean, it's a questionable one. Perhaps it's that Arsenal have been bullied into a corner now with all these players on astronomical wages. We really do have to get our house in order. And I may well be very wrong. This may well be one of the most shrewd investments because he is quite clearly a valuable asset, regardless of what you think his qualities at now. Plenty of people are seeing him as extremely high potential. The top transfer values for under 20 Big Five league players. This is very recent. In fact, it came out 10 days ago. And it's basically saying Jadon Sancho is the most valuable young player in world football. Arsenal have the second most valuable in Matteo Guendouzi. He is the second most valuable young player in world football. And more valuable than Vinicius Jr. Incredible. More valuable than Callum Hudson-Odoi. Brahim Diaz. There's quite a few great names on there, I've got to say. He's very high up on the list. In fact, he's got to be high up on the list, really, because he started 47 bloody games for Arsenal this season. And if you're doing that, then, fair play to you. Maybe you do deserve... He does deserve a wait. He does deserve a race. He's Arsenal's main midfielder. So if he's Arsenal's main... It's not his fault. That's not his fault. He has been chosen to be Arsenal's main midfielder. 48 appearances this season. That is basically Arsenal's main man. So The only other players who are playing more than him are, these are Emery's favourite players. Aubameyang, 36 appearances. Iwobi, 35 appearances. Lacazette, 35 appearances. Torreira, 34 appearances. And Guendouzi, 33 appearances. So he is one of Arsenal's main men. He's top 5 in Arsenal. He is top 5 boys at Arsenal. You know, a marketing poster of Arsenal's best players, he's got to be in the top 5. He's the most played midfielder at the club, barring Lucas Torreira, who's played one more game than him. So maybe he does deserve the raise. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is it too soon for Guendouzi to be getting 75 grand a week, or are Arsenal doing good business in protecting one of their most valuable assets? Plenty more videos coming your way. If you've got any suggestions or requests or any questions that you'd like me to answer in the up and coming Q&A, then please do leave them down in the comment section below as well. And make sure you turn that bell on so you get all the notifications when I do upload. We're going in.